Thank you. So my name is Matt Vogelhuber, and I'm the CEO of fluidIQ. Thanks for allowing me to take the time today to introduce fluidIQ and the first of our many disruptive medical devices, the Hope Invent. The mission is to innovate, develop, and deploy fluidic solutions while saving lives and enhancing medical care for patients. And the first introduction is the Hope Invent, and it's to provide simple, lung-saving ventilation for millions in need. Well, the bag valve mask has been a critical part of life-saving tools since its inception in the 1950s. But for over the last 70 years, there's been little improvement in the technology. Manual resuscitation using a bag valve mask is highly labor-intensive. The provider's stress and ongoing fatigue from squeezing a bag every 6 seconds for required breath is extraordinarily time-consuming and extraordinarily damaging to the lungs. So imagine your hands cramping from squeezing a bag every 10 seconds in a 15-minute ambulance ride. So the most common error in using a bag valve mask is inadvertent, is forceful ventilation that can result in significant damage to the lungs. Periods of excessive ventilation can enlarge the air sacs and enlarge the lungs and stress the air sacs to the point of fatigue and rupture, causing inadvertent harm to the patient. And as you can see here, in just 20 minutes, from normal to markedly enlarged based on this particular rat model. Studies show that even highly trained professionals have a rate of overinflation of about 70%. With first responders' rate of overinflation at about 90%. And if you've ever seen a bag on a bag valve mask, it's about the size of a football, and it contains 2.5 times the American Heart Association's recommendation for tidal volume, which is the air moving in and out of the lungs. So it's really dangerous overinflation happens, especially when responders in high-stress environments get tired from squeezing a bag every 6 seconds. So what is the Hope Invent? Well, it's been described as the world's smallest resuscitator. It's hands-free. It's a single-use gas-powered resuscitator that has no moving parts, no electronics, no sensors. It's about the size of a lipstick container. It can be 3D printed, and it's lung protective because it has fixed pressure settings and therefore can't be inadvertently overinflated. So a physician we spoke with described the Invent as more sensible ventilation. It provides disruptive benefits to both the patient and the provider. So what we're doing is elevating the standard of care for the patient using lung protective technology that reduces not only mortality, but length of stay in the hospital. And the hands-free aspect of the device eliminates the fatigue from squeezing the bag, and it enables the EMT to administer care to other patients and other traumas. So how does it really work? Simply connect the Invent to an oxygen source or compressed air, and it connects seamlessly with off-the-shelf ISO safety components, a mask or endotracheal tube, and then directly into the patient. So as mentioned, the Hope Invent was designed to either assist or control the ventilation of a patient and customized to target a range of lung conditions which represent most patients that present for ventilatory support. And the 3 interchangeable color-coded devices, red, yellow, and green, have different fixed pressure and different minute volume settings. Minute volume meaning the amount of air a patient breathes in a minute. And the settings are based on lung compliance, which is the ability of the lungs to stretch or expand, and that's reflected in a changing respiratory rate. In other words, the less compliant or less stretchy the lungs are, the faster the respiration rate. By simply counting the respiratory rate and following this simple protocol, the vast majority of patients can receive life-saving, lung-safe ventilation by one of these 3 devices. So what is fluidics? Fluidics is a valveless technology that utilizes the fixed pressure settings, much like a mechanical ventilator. So as oxygen flows in from the left through the barbed nozzle and into the resulting jet of air attaches to the right side of the device, and into a patient's lungs, increasing the pressure. Once the preset pressure is reached, the patent-pending geometry is designed for the feedback flow to become great enough that switches the power jet from the right to left, ending inspiration and starting exhalation. And this process continues to cycle automatically with or without the patient ventilatory effort. So fluidIQ's core competency is the rapid application of innovating, prototyping, and product development. But our innovation relies on 3D printing, and it's enabled our engineers and the team to create thousands of iterations of the initial product. What we're going to rely on is partnerships across other parts of the value chain: manufacturing, sales, marketing, distribution, and third-party logistics, which will allow us to be much more agile and much more capital efficient. So the go-to-market segment is the manual resuscitation market. It's roughly $550 to $600 million now. It's going to grow to almost $1 billion by 2028. But we're going to initially target the emergency transport segment with a soft launch in the third quarter of this year, moving to a broader national launch in early 2023. Well, the first video store was opened in the mid-1970s, but you would never drive to a Blockbuster given today's streaming technology. So really, why in the world is the medical device industry satisfied with a 70-year-old technology that has measurable disadvantages? Well, we don't think there's any reason. And that's why we invented Invent, to disrupt and replace the existing standard of care and improve patients' lives. So again, how is Invent differentiated? It's safer, more efficient, and a simpler option than today's 70-year-old bag valve mask technology. It provides lung protection against excessive inflation and hands-free capability that reduces stress and expands care. The leadership team is substantial, and it's really a differential company asset with over 200 years of experience in the life sciences, in engineering, and startups and exits. The team has track records of execution and commercialization excellence and success. And it really is highly unusual to see a team at this phase of the startup life cycle with this degree of experience. And it's going to enable us to focus on growth as opposed to identifying talent and onboarding the folks. Well, the company has reached several product milestones. We've got an ongoing collaboration with the NIH. We've completed an animal study with the NIH, and the NIH has submitted a publication to a major medical journal using our device. To date, we've filed 3 patents, 2 provisionals, and a PCT, patent cooperation treaty filing. And our regulatory validation, we've submitted 510K, and we anticipate clearance toward the end of the second quarter of this year. We've set clear milestones to which we're held accountable for. As I mentioned, FDA clearance later on this year, signing a licensing partner for manufacturing, sales, marketing, and distribution, closing our seed round to secure funding for the next 18 months, launching in the second half of this year, and moving to a more cost-effective injection-molded product, which will allow the margins to be significantly greater. So we're planning to continually develop a platform of products in the respiratory space. Fluidics will underpin and power a family of products with subsequent innovation. Our core innovation competence and regulatory strategy will enable us to bring new products to the market more efficiently and effectively. And we're currently raising a seed round and have very compelling attributes for investors. The leadership team, as I've mentioned, have skin in the game, and we've got track records of success. Product innovation is very capital efficient and agile, and iterations of our initial device will reduce the regulatory and go-to-market initiatives. So the ask, a little bit smaller than what others have asked for. We're looking at a $6 million seed round with the use of the funds to really secure the management team that's in place, engage in commercial activities, move to injection molding, and develop our platform of fluidic innovations. So with that, thank you for your time, and we'll be in the next room and would love to meet with investors. Thank you.